What is up? You are listening to Cue the Duck, and I'm your host, JG24JM26.
One more time, please.
In the truck, please cue the duck.
Now, today's episode will be about the Bristol race. I know it's been a couple days, but you know what? I've been busy, but I'm making the most of it. Now, the Bristol race was incredible. I would say it was probably the best overall race this year. Best finish the best finish in my eyes goes to Chicagoland. That finish was incredible. It had everything you would ever want in a finish. The race wasn't that bad either for a Chicagoland race, but Bristol was everything you want in a NASCAR race. 9 different leaders, 21 lead changes, lots of drama. A lot happened in that race. And the current Bristol, for some reason, it gets ragged on a lot, but I kind of like it. I really like the new Bristol, the new layout. We got 2 racing grooves. I know the high line is still kind of OP, but if that bottom lane, when it hooks in, you're able to pass. You're able to get around drivers, and it makes it exciting. Like, say, Chase Elliott was faster than Eric Jones. The old Bristol, it would have taken Chase 50 laps to get around Eric Jones riding the high line. Over and over and over. You can't bump out of the way on the high line. Well, ever since they added that sticky substance to the bottom groove, Chase Elliott was able to go and make a slide job and get around Eric Jones, and it was good racing all around. I approve of the race. I approve of the racing format. I think Bristol is probably the best it's ever been in its current state. I enjoy it. Now, that doesn't mean you have to agree with me at all. But I enjoyed that Bristol race. It was a lot of fun. I think Bristol is one of the best it's been in a decade. Easily. Hands down. You can't argue that. I will see the side of the argument for the old Bristol before they messed up the banking. But this current Bristol, it's the best we've ever had it in its current state. That's what I'm arguing. I'm not going to argue with the old style, the rebanking the track Bristol. I'm talking about the current Bristol we've got, and I believe it's the best it's been, and the racing proves it. So we're going to start off early in the race. Kyle Busch, the race favorite, easily hands down. He's won 2 in a row. He wrecks on lap 2. He's damaged. He's done. I was celebrating. I was like, yes, Kyle Busch isn't going to win this race. You should have seen my face at lap 425 when Kyle Busch was racing in 3rd place, just past Chase Elliott. I was in shock and awe. It's like, there's no way that guy just came back from, 3 laps down? Maybe 2? I think it was 2. There's no way he just did that. Almost went 3 laps down to Ryan Blaney. Raced his way, stayed on the lead lap, or stayed on 2 laps down. Got the cautions, got the wave arounds. Kyle Busch on the lead lap. And guess what? He's in 3rd place. Now the spot where Kyle Busch messed up. I can see how it was a racing accident. But Kyle Busch has to be a little more careful with the way he's racing. I'm sure he was urgent, but he still had 70 laps to go in the race. And he just flat out dumped Martin Truex Jr. That's the part I took issue with. I get that he was sorry, but you have to be more cautious. There's plenty of stuff to happen. It's frickin' Bristol. You got so many drivers out there that could wreck. I mean, the urgency wasn't really there too either, because he was catching these guys fast. He was going to catch Clint Boyer, no doubt about it. But Kyle Busch got into the back of Truex and put Truex into the inside wall, and that's what sucked about it. Because, I know Truex is the big 3. We love to see the big 3 fail, apparently. Harvick had an off night, had some problems. Kyle Busch had problems early, and Truex is the only big 3 up there. Only one of the big 3, and then he gets wrecked by another big 3 member, Kyle Busch. And then Kyle Busch ends up wrecking because he goes, Jimmy Johnson made it 3 wide on poor Chris Buescher. I felt like Johnson could have gave Buescher a little more room there, but squeezed him up into Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch blows the tire, spins out. He wasn't done. He kept racing, but his chances of winning was shot. And I think that's what made this race kind of special too. I know the last podcast I did, I talked about how I enjoy the Big Three, but sometimes it's nice to have a break, a breath of fresh air. I can't complain about that. That was nice to have. And what if Truex did win this race, would it still been a bad race? No. But I bet the polls that Jeff Gluck does would have said otherwise. Just because the Big Three driver won the race. It's stupid. It's stupid. That racing was incredible. The spring Bristol race was incredible, but Kyle Busch won, so the race sucked, right? Come on. Come on now. The Bristol race was great. And now from my perspective, as a Chase Elliott fan, just like Chase Elliott said, he wasn't satisfied with that finish. I'm not either. The guy's won, now he needs to win more. And that was a perfect night, a perfect car, perfect situation. Kyle Busch is beaten but not out. I won't say Kyle Busch couldn't have won that race, but he was beaten down. Chase Elliott had the best car at one point in this race, and it got too tight on him. And the worst part of the race, come on, Gustafson. Get your head in the game. Give the guy an adjustments. And I'm sure that's on Chase Elliott too, not to tell, he wasn't telling Allen something. But just the worst timing ever to get tight in a race the last 100 laps. And Chase Elliott ended up finishing third. And another problem was he kept getting screwed over and put on the inside lane for restarts. And he fell back to like outside the top 10, I think. But then on the last restart, he restarted 8th on the high lane and worked his way up to 3rd before the race is over. And he ended up finishing 3rd to Kyle Larson, who finished 2nd, and Kurt Busch, who won the race. How about that for Kurt Busch? Last week at Michigan International Speedway, talks of him out of his ride next year for possibly Cole Custer or Christopher Bell or anybody else who's rumored to take that ride. I mean, how else can you back that up? And he wins at Bristol, a track that he's dominated in the past. Hasn't won over, has it been like a decade since he's won there? Over that, I think it was 2006 was his last win there. And then he comes and wins at Bristol. So, congrats to Kurt. That was awesome. It's cool to see Kurt win. Cool to see a new winner this season. A new winner. He hasn't won since the Daytona 500 in 2017, so that's got to feel good for Kurt as well. Maybe a little rejuvenating. I've been looking at the standings, and I think he's 4th overall, just regular points, which is impressive, considering the Big Three. So that means Kurt is the 4th best driver this season, and he finally wins, which is nice. It's nice to see Kurt get that recognition he deserves. He's had a solid season, very consistent, under the radar. Could be a possible championship 4 candidate come the playoffs if he just keeps his consistency up. And what if he wins Homestead? What's Tony going to do then? Get rid of him? Who knows? But he won Bristol. Congrats to Kurt. Great race. Great racing all around. Had some nice wrecks, which everybody likes to see at Bristol. We like to see the carnage. We like to see the tempers. We like to see the drama. That's what Bristol is about. And Bristol did not disappoint this time around. It was amazing. Bristol has been pretty decent. Every year I look forward to that night race, man. The year Joey Logano won in 2015, when Harvick should have just wrecked him for the win. I think 2016, Logano... No. Wow, why can't I remember who won 2016? That was such a weird year. The year Eric Jones almost won the race versus Kyle Busch. And then this year, Kurt Busch takes the victory. It was good stuff. It was fun. I had a ball. And I hope everybody else did too. So let me know what you thought about that race in the comments below. I thought Bristol was amazing. I think Bristol's the best it's ever been since it got the progressive banking. I thought it was great. Bristol was awesome. It didn't let down. And just let me know what you think in the comments below. So thanks everybody for tuning in. This is JG24, JM26, signing out.